Hello, Internet Nation. Alex and Ashley here with a video for you guys. Hopefully, I can find a good lighting so I'm not so blending in with the wall. What you're seeing behind me is a giant pile of stuffing. I just try to wash Ruben, and that is everything that was inside of him. Yeah, it's a giant pile of fluff. So, yeah. The meaning of today's video is I shall be going into in depth with the significance behind each one of my tattoos. Now, since there is like 29 or 30, I'm going to be splitting this up into 3 videos, one being tattoos done by me, tattoos done by Mike, and tattoos done by other people. And if you think that's an odd way of doing it, just take into consideration there's about 15 tattoos done by me, 15 tattoos done by Mike, and like 5 done by other people. So in the introduction video, which this is right here, I'm going to be covering tattoos done by other people, since that is the smallest amount. Jumping right into it. Yeah, starting with number 1, which is my monster tattoo. Now, that tattoo was my first ever one, like first, and it was done in Harlem by who knows. Granted, if it wasn't done by me and it wasn't done by Mike, I do not know the name of the person who did the tattoo. Now, the monster tattoo is my first tattoo, and it is in fact not an implication that I believe that I am a monster, nor is it a warning to other people that I am a monster. It just kind of serves as a reminder of the negative potential of the human nature, as well as serving as a reminder of a very particular person who I do very much see as a monster. Just a reminder of how people can be. Also, I always wanted a set of tattoos that say monster and zombie. Not specifically in any order, but if I did get the zombie tattoo, it would be set up in a way where it would read monster zombie. No zombie monster. There we go, that way, in that order. Because, you know, I like zombies, and monsters are cool, too. So that was the first one. The second one I'm gonna go over is my third tattoo. Well, actually, no, not my third tattoo, because that was done by Mike, so we're gonna reserve that for that one. So I guess the next one I'm going to go over is my second tattoo. I was going to save the back tats for last, but I might as well, because it was in fact my second tattoo. And that one is this one, the corset on my back. Now that's as good as the picture's going to get, because it is rather difficult to take a picture of your back. So yeah, that was my third tattoo, and it was done by some guy who looked like Travis McCoy. And it was a wonderful experience up until the point where he put the needle to my back. Then it was just like 2 hours of absolute pain. Possibly the worst pain I've experienced in my life. Now, I had wrote some stuff down earlier because I was originally going to make a blog about this, but then Weebly does not like it when you use it for extended periods of time and try to make things detailed and extravagant. So I was like, no, fuck you, and it kept crashing on me and then deleting what I was writing, and then I had to keep writing it over and over again, and then I lost like 4 segments of text, I think. So I do have it all like written down. You can't see the screen, it's too bright. It's all written down here. The significance and whatnot. But basically, to sum it all up, my back tattoo is, for the most part, it's a representation of the part of me known as Alex Shin, which she is my, I don't want to say little side, even though she is basically my little side, but she is the representation of my inner child. Now, the fab and any image that I usually draw, you can see. If I ever draw my characters, they each have different tattoos, piercings, all that, all of which is represented on my body here. Because, you know, we're all basically the same person, just different parts, just different aspects of the same person. So, I've always wanted a corset tattoo, not tattoo, piercing, a corset piercing, but they have a very high rejection rate and they can snag and then tear, and I'm very squeamish and very paranoid when it comes to things like that. And there's a lot of stupid people in my life, and I don't want to trust them with something so delicate. Like, the last thing you need is to be having sex with somebody after like 10 years of babying this thing. They're like, oh, I'm gonna grab you by the ribbons and fuck you, and then just, that is just, for one, that's just too much money to be wasting like that. But I digress. The significance behind that, I originally saw the original image on DeviantArt, and I fell in love with this girl's tattoo. She had the thing on her side. So I did my own design inspired by hers, where I basically, like, it's a ribbon interlacing in the skin. And, ow, fuck. As it says here, it loops through the skin to represent my deep ties to inner beauty, and the ribbon itself is torn in many places to represent the torn fabrications of my mind and body, which, for anybody who knows me knows that I've been through some shit, and I've been through quite the journey in which I've been broken, rebuilt, and then broken once more, and then had to rebuild myself from the ground up. But, you know, technically by then I already had the tattoo. But that's basically what it represents. The holes in the flesh represent the tears and the fabric that is my being, and the ribbon is pulling it all together. It holds my very essence together, which is why the tattoo appears on Alex Shin, because my inner child is what keeps me together. It keeps my sanity, it keeps my everything flowing together, and it holds it all together. So yeah, the next tattoo I'm gonna go over with you guys is my falling guy. It's this guy right here. So yeah, that one was done like 2 years ago at this very random place in Williamsburg somewhere on like a Friday the 13th. My friend Serena had called me and she was like, hey, come get a tattoo with me. And I was like, okay. I like tattoos, especially when they're only 20 bucks. So we waited in line, and I could not decide what I wanted to get because all their tattoos had like 13 in them and whatnot, because it was a Friday the 13th deal. You pay like $13 for the tattoo and then a $7 tip for good luck, so that it evens out to 20, which is a really good business strategy now that I think about it. And then they just had a whole bunch of random designs for you to choose from. I'm not entirely sure how many people decided to go with the falling guy, but I enjoy the falling guy and I enjoy his placement. It was a random thing, and I was gonna go with the astronaut, but decided against it at like the very last minute. And I'm glad that I went with this, because my little falling guy is it's one of my favorite tattoos because of the significance of it. Just the fact that he's on my arm, so like most of my life kind of felt like falling. Nowadays it just kind of feels like I'm floating, either floating or drowning in water. But most of my life kind of felt like I was falling. And ironically, that is usually my method of like usually when I think of suicide, that's the thought that comes to mind, falling off of a building. Which ironically is like one of the things I'm scared of the most, because I'm just like, oh my god, I'm so resistant. What if I land and I survive and I'm just in pain or paralyzed or whatnot. Like, I'm really scared of losing function in my body. But that's not what this video is about. Um, so yeah. So yeah. My little falling guy, kind of represents me because I've just mostly been falling through life due to like depression, anxiety, and all this other stuff, and it's not fun feeling as though you're falling. But due to the placement, now he's kind of like flying when my arm is up and falling when my arm is down. So I'm technically completely in control of the direction in which he moves, which is really, really cool for me because it's kind of like I get to be in charge of my own direction, kind of. So I usually just think about that whenever I see him falling. So it's like, oh, you're falling to your demise, but now I can save you. Now you're flying. Whee! It's so hard to do because he's on the back of my arm. But yeah, that was like, I don't even fucking know. 6th, 7th tattoo? Something like that. Something around those lines. And last but not least, she says, half convinced. Let me just take a quick look around. So yeah, last but not least, of the tattoos done by other people are the tags on my arm. I'm going to try to say this part fast because my iPhone is running out of space. But clearly, well, not clearly, the Eat Me and Drink Me tags are a representation of both people's constant desire to want to consume me and possess me, as well as my desire to consume life. The Made with Care in Wonderland tag, though it doesn't appear in any of the books or movies, it was specifically made for merchandising, and I do want the tag. I just haven't looked for it in years, nor have I thought about looking for it whenever I had money. But it was basically put there as a reminder that I was made somewhere with love and care so that I shouldn't be hurting myself. Now, obviously, it hasn't worked, but who am I to be mad at myself for messing up? I am, after all, only human. And that, I believe, is the last of the tattoos done by other people. I'm not sure if I'm going to get into tattoos done by me or tattoos done by Mike next, but that video shall be recorded very soon. And in case you were wondering, this video was made on iMovie. Until next time, my darlings, I love you, and goodbye.